is the AI practitioner. So this is an AI certification, teaching you the foundational knowledge of AI club workloads. It was offerings around traditional ML pipelines. It was offerings around main G services. It was offerings around Gen AI and large language models. His course code here is the AIAIFC01. So make sure you check the course code, so you know that you're using the latest course. Consider the certification. If you want to become an AI engineer or data scientist, or you have to work with AI stuff in your developer job. If you don't know what an AI engineer is, it's someone that builds AI solutions using managing AI services, but could also be building ML pipelines or working with data scientists. To some degree you will want this certification. If you're looking to architect business use cases for ML AI Gen AI, this certification is more focused on the C-suite and decision makers to help them buy into the aid of an ecosystem for IML. But I'm gonna cram in a bunch of developer stuff because I know that people wanna do this for real and not just talk about it. If you enjoy the following tasks like stats and math, working with data, working with Python, and this is a clear path for you. If you don't, you better watch out here, cause this stuff creeps up on you unexpectedly. But for generative AI it's not so much an issue. Here is our AVA certification roadmap. And you know, again, this is just a suggestion that you can do these in any order that you want. But I strongly suggest that before you get a practitioner, do the CLAP practitioner, because a lot of the skills are expected for this, okay? And I just need to remind you that if certifications do not validate programming, technical diagramming, code management, and many other technical skills that are required for obtaining technical roles, so do not assume that when you get a cert, you can do the job. It's part of your learning journey. Yes, of course. But you need to really make sure that you can do the skills. How long will it take to pass? Well, if you're beginner, 20 hours. If you are experienced, 5 hours. This is not a hard certification. I probably made the content harder than it had to be, but I want to prep you, for your roles in actually being able to do this stuff. You're looking about 10-hour average study time. Spend half your time with lecture and labs, other half of practice exams. Recommending you study 1 or 2 hours, for possibly 14 days again. It won't take long to get through this course. Watch. Select your content, do the hands-on labs. Now this certification doesn't require any hands-on experience. But I really think that you should do it. Because in practice versus on paper are to completely do different things. The labs are not hard here, and it will really help cement your knowledge. In some cases I'm keeping the lecture slides light, because we're gonna be doing the lab, so even if you don't do them, watch what I do, so you get at least that experience there. Get paid prox exams, because this one has new example question types. And people said that it threw them off, right? So you can go over to the Exam Pro platform. Get your free prax exam. We also have paid ones. You can find that /AIFC01 by those paid ones. Support more of this free content. We really appreciate your support. And this stuff is hard to make. So let's talk about the domains for the exam. There are 5 domains. Each domain has its own way. This is determined how many questions that will show up in domain A. So for domain 1 we have fundamentals of AI and ML. Domain 2 we have fundamentals of Jedi. Domain 3 we have apps. Applications of foundation models. I love to saying applications is apps, and by the way, this is not a spelling mistake. I copy and paste it. It's foundation models. But foundational models is also correct. Domain 4 is guidelines of responsible AI. And domain 5 is security compliance, governance AI solutions, which is not a lot to talk about, so they really overemphasize it when there's not much to say. But these 2 categories is all Geni high, so I put a lot of Jenna in this course. Amazon Bedrock is done end-to-end for this So you're in really good shape. I probably have the best course for the AI practitioner for the Bedrock stuff. Okay, SageMaker. I do an okay job of it. SageMaker used to be SageMaker Studio Classic, and they've migrated over to this new experience, which is not very good, and so you know I'm kind of grumpy when making the content for SageMaker because I miss the old experience. And I think any of us is kind of not doing a good job reimagining that solution. But anyway, where do you take this exam, in person or online? 8 of us uses Pearson VUE for their proctored online exam system. And also for their test network. PSI is gone. If you remember PSI from long time ago, 8 of us is not using them anymore. The experience with PSI hasn't been great, but I also think the reason why it was going with a single provider now is just that they can leverage that platform to its maximum and add new features like exam question test, which we'll talk about in a moment. A proctor is someone that watches the exam. So the idea is, they're there to make sure you do not cheat. So understand that is a component in the test experience. The grading here is 700 out of 1000 for passing score. I put an asteroid there because it's around 70%, because it must use a scaled scoring. You could technically fail at 70% right. So always aim for higher. There are 65 questions of the exam. 50 scored, 15 unscored. You can get 15 scored questions wrong. There's no penalty for wrong questions. Format of questions: multiple choice, multiple answer, but also ordering. Ordering matching in case I use for this exam for sure. So right now. The exam is in beta at the time that make this video, so they might change and get rid of those questions cause people don't like them. But understand that any of us is trying to exam type questions. You experiences our platform simulates them. So you'll be in good shape if you use our practice exams. Not all providers can. Even similar things like case studies. We absolutely have that in space, and we've been doing that well before this. So it was just coincidental that AWS decided to do that. 50 questions on the exam are unscored. They will not count towards your final score. Why are the unscored questions are used? To evaluate the introduction of new questions, to determine if the exam is too easy and the passing score or question difficulty needs to be increased. Discover users who are attempting to cheat. Okay. So there's lots of reasons why they do this. If you encounter questions you've never studied for, that seem really hard, keep your cool. Remember, they may be unscored questions. The duration of exam is 2.5 hours. You get about 1.5 minutes per question. There is 120 minutes with 150 minutes. Time refers to the time you should allocate for the exam. This includes reviewing instructions, showing up for online proctored on, showing up for the proctor to look at your workspace, reading, accepting the NDA, complete the exam, provide feedback at the end. If it seems like I'm tired, it's cause I shot this 3 times. My microphone wasn't on, and so my voice is kind of worried out. But we'll get through this okay. The exam is valid for 36 months and 3 years before certification. I don't really know that for certain, because at the time of this exam, they didn't say that, but the general rule is that search for 8 of us is always 3 years. If you're gonna get recertified, it's gonna be you probably get it for free through a skill builder. They are always trying to do that. Let's have some real talk about certifications. I have to remind you that class certifications expect you to have foundational technical skills, like programming, scripting, SCLITI networking, Linux, Windows servers, project management, developer tools, app development skills, COPS algorithm skills, and more. If you do not have these skills, and you get these certs, you cannot do the job right. This only teaches you how to do MLAI on the end of this platform, but it's missing a lot of stuff. and 8 of us likes to position this certification as a funded fundamental exam. But I find there's tons of gaps in this one. I'm producing my own foundational generic Genai certification to really fill the gaps here. But to fill the gaps, leverage free code camp, their large catalog of general technical content, and we Exam Pro also make additional materials beside the certification to really help you there. That's only available in the subscription, okay? It was itself does not care about it, of a certification for hiring for their own technical roles. Certification serve as a structured way of learning with the gulpa. Now originally, certification actually mattered back in 2016-17. If you had any certification, we're talking about it. Companies took notice. But now it's more of a learning path thing. Nurse certifications can be more valuable. So the reception they have, practitioner might be more valuable. But I don't know this point, so I don't want to give you false hope and considerations. But it's good to learn this stuff and stuff like that. Understand that you might need to add 250 to 500 hours beside the certification to have the developer knowledge to perform the software or AI knowledge. If you will, so again. Just consider there's additional work to be done. If you want to work as an engineer or data scientist, we're gonna add hands-on labs to help you fill the gaps here. So if you see me taking detours, and seems like we're doing long labs, I'm trying to help you out here. You can watch them and not do them if you want. But you really should do them. Because I'm giving you real-world skills. Hearing you both keep saying that you want it. So I'm giving it to you. So some of the labs might even end up in failed implementations. Not for this certification. I think there was only one like that. That was bust, and it wasn't my fault. It was just I think we're trying to find on Amazon Bedrock, and so it just wasn't clear the span. And I just did not want to end up with a $5,000 bill or something crazy. So I did show the process and I did tell you that. But this one has next to no failures. Just the one there. But understand that it's about seeing the problems. Seeing what's worth using. Seeing what's not worth using. Because these certifications are marketing tools to convince you to utilize them. But I'm here as your community hero. Actually, I'm an AWS community hero to tell you the real truth about these services, and which ones you should use and maybe avoid. And I want to be really clear with that. We do try our best to clean up infrastructure, but you should always be proactive, and check if the resources are running. You're responsible for the cost. And spend your AWS account. In the 8 of Us Practitioner course, I show you budgeting. So I'm not showing in this course by doing this one. And by the way, in this course I actually had unexpected spend. I usually don't have it, but I had it with a SageMaker canvas. It was almost $400-500 Canadian. Cause it's US dollars converted afterwards. And it's just one of those services where they really misled you. Not intentionally, but because of you. I was so bad, and I really pointed out, and I even tell you, don't you say make a canvas and just watch me do it. So be very careful with spend. But I do my best, but you are responsible. Just remember that, okay?